Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai.
All praise to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai.
We are the Hebrew Israelites, and we come out here every week to teach you about the truth of the Bible. And we want to teach you that who the Israelites are. Because right now, people are teaching that the Israelites are those people in Israel. But that's not true. The real Israelites, they're the 12 sons of Jacob. And they're actually 12 nationalities. Okay? And all these nationalities you see right here, Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, North American Indians. These are all the true Israelites right here.
All you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans.
That's right, and we can prove that.
I got Deuteronomy 28:68.
Okay.
This is Deuteronomy 28:68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt.
That's right.
Hold on. Let that one second. Let me start again. I'll stop it. This is Deuteronomy 28:68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
That's right. It said the Lord shall bring you into Egypt again. Okay. Now that's the second time. Okay, but the first time when we were in Egypt. Okay, so say that scripture again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
That's right.
Go ahead.
That's right, because the first time we were in Egypt under captivity.
We were in actual Egypt.
That's right, we're in the actual Egypt. But this time he says he's gonna take us to Egypt again, but this time by ships. But you can't take a ship from Egypt to Israel, right?
Because it's just right there.
Yeah, it's just
a walk away.
Walking distance. Okay. So read that scripture.
Okay, I'm gonna read it all. Deuteronomy 28:68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
That's right. And when was that time when they took ships, when they took prisoners in ships and brought them over here? When was that time? That was the time when the so-called white man, he was the one that brought the Negroes over here on ships.
And he took us and they took us to Europe. They came over here in 1492. I don't know if they told you guys, but this dude named Christopher Columbus, and this is what Christopher Columbus got through rape, murder, man, all kinds of dirty stuff.
That's right. That's right. So that time when Christopher Columbus, he was the one that came over here. So Christopher Columbus, he's the one that fulfills that prophecy.
I'm gonna get John 7:30.
So that's how you know that the Negroes, they came from the tribe of Judah. And you know that because you know the image of our Lord.
This is St. John chapter 7 verse 35. Then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go, that we shall not find him? Will he go into the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles?
That's right, it says to disperse. So that means that somebody got scattered, you know? And it was the Israelites who got scattered. They got scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. So when he said, whither will he go? Will he go to the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles?
Now, I got a dictionary here, and we're going to get into these words that we're using. Like the first one being, which one do you want?
The Gentile word?
Gentile.
Because we could look up that word for Gentile. You know, that word for Gentile means stranger.
And this is what Esau has to say about it. Because there's a Bible dictionary.
Because the Israelites, they became strangers. And the way they did,
I want to bring it out.
because here's the definition for Gentile: anyone who is not Jewish. Among Mormons, one who is not a Mormon.
Now, they're trying to say that within a certain society, well, this society is the Israelite society. So, and the Jews are Israelites, the real Jews, not the fake Jews.
Because that Jews, that comes from Judah.
Yahweh, which means he thanks, or thanks to Yahweh.
It's just short for Judah, you know.
Let me read it again. Actually. Then said the Jews among themselves. So they were talking amongst themselves, murmuring, like basically saying, "Where's this nigga gonna go?" Because when you got to think about it like this.
Like, who's he gonna go teach? You know.
Yeah. Who's he gonna go teach?
Okay. Now let's see what he says.
Whither will he go that we shall not find him? So we were over here, and he was talking about basically everybody on the sign right here. And you were already in the Americas when Yahushua was on the scene, okay? So he was talking about us, and he was talking about Cornelius. Cornelius is a good example. Cornelius, you know, he served in the Roman military. He was a captain, and he had to do the work of the Lord. You know why? Because the Spirit condemned him. So that's what we're trying to say. That a Gentile could be a police officer that has blonde hair and everything, blue eyes.
Yeah, because Gentile it can mean a heathen too. Yeah.
Will he go into the dispersed among the Gentiles? Now let me get that word dispersed. It's actually diaspora. Because if you go to that word dispersed, it'll take you to diaspora. 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 There you go. Diaspora. The dispersion of the Jews after the end of the Babylonian captivity. So that means that Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Latinos, Native Americans are the Lord's chosen people. You're precious to the Lord. It's right here on the sign. Also, Judah, the tribe of Judah, the Negroes, West Indians, and the Haitians. And there's nothing more beautiful than having a knowledge of who you really are. So let me get this word again. Diaspora. The dispersion of the Jews after the end of the Babylonian captivity.
Right, because we all got scattered. And then when we got scattered, we started serving other captivities. And when you go to serve other captivities, what happens? You start serving their customs. You know what I mean? You start doing what they do. And then when years and years go by, you start forgetting who you are and who you really are. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. Yeah. You do, man. Because you know what? That's what happens, man. Because you follow the woman, right?
Yep. And who's the first one that made us go off?
Eve.
You know?
And she's gonna get it. She's gonna get it. But like Amawan was saying, we were dispersed into other captivities, and other captivities are basically when a kingdom overthrows another kingdom through acts of military power and force, through conquest by economy, seizing of a land, and all kinds of stuff. Now this is Jeremiah 28. And 8, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. Now, if we were prophesying in other kingdoms, doesn't that mean that we were scattered throughout all those kingdoms? I thought we were supposed to be only in Israel. So let me ask you a question, Doc. Are those people in Israel the real Jews?
I don't think they're the real Jews, because it says in the last days that the Lord's going to come back and reclaim his people. And when he reclaims his people, he's going to gather his people throughout the four corners of the earth, not just from one land. He's going to gather them from the earth, the whole earth, you know?
Yeah, because that's what diaspora means.
Yeah, so when we got scattered over here, we forgot who we were. Because before we got forced over here, we were following the Lord's commandments. Okay, we weren't eating pork, we weren't celebrating Christmas, we were growing our beards out. Okay, we were doing all that. But what happened?
This is what happened. This is the second book of Esdras, chapter 13. Salakia, I need to slow down. Let me slow down. I'm getting excited. Can you tell I'm getting excited? I'm getting excited, man.
That's the
Woo!
Spirit. Holy Spirit. Right
It's
now.
that fight or flight feeling, man, and I'm feeling fighty. I got that from a Mike Tyson cartoon. That shit was funny. But we deserve a little time to laugh.
We're just happy that we came back to the Most High, and we know who we are.
Yeah.
We're not lost.
Second book of Esdras, chapter 13, verse 41. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into the further country where never mankind dwelt. That's the Americas, but they weren't called the Americas, okay? Because there's this douchebag named Amerigo Vespucci. No, yeah. Some Renaissance motherfucker. He was a fucking pimp. I have that book and I'm reading it right now, but it's fucking boring. Because all it talks about is how he fucking lied. That's what the word America means. It goes back to the word Amerigo, which is bitter. So the brother was saying that where are we going to go to keep our... When you're under captivity, can you do what you want to do?
No, not if I was born in captivity, because when I was born in this captivity, I started following what these people were doing.
Following the program, right?
You know, and not knowing. These people weren't even telling me. These people weren't waking me up. The only person that woke me up was this brother. You know, he's the only one that cared.
Because he told me, and that he is in the word, how shall I let me? If you love me, feed my sheep.
All right, that's what we're trying to do right now. You know.
Man. So, in verse 42, that they might there keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. And we never kept them in our own land because we were under oppression through the other kingdoms. Antiochus Epiphanes, gosh, I'm gonna have to get that in Maccabees. You know, that's crazy. But when we came over here to the Americas, we were sacrificing each other, fucking killing each other, fucking doing all kinds of... Apocalypto is a perfect example, man. You go ahead and watch that shit, you'll thank me. If you're a spiritual person, because not anybody can watch that.
Yeah. Apocalypto.
And you know what else is a spiritual movie? General Patton, or Patton. Because it tells you about reincarnation, and it tells you that he was an Edomite, bro. He's standing at the Parthenon, and he's like, "You see that hill over there? That's where I took something." He was a general back then under Alexander the Greek, and he said that shit in the movie, man. But you can't watch that movie, man. You don't got the patience. You can't watch that movie. That's like a 4-hour movie, bro. I had to pause it, like, and go back to it.
You gotta have patience.
So let me continue on this. And so, how did we get from Israel all the way to Arsareth, a land where never mankind dwelt? Oh, and by the way, King David had ships that came over here into Arsareth to get gold.
And how did Christopher Columbus know how to come over here?
Christopher, that's his name. That's Christopher, yeah, because that's a wicked thing.
He knew how to get over here through the Bible.
Oh yeah, this is how he knew. And if you watch that movie 1492, you ever watch that?
Yeah. They speak a part in there. They say a part in there, a Bible part about a navigation about where to go to. You know?
Right here. This is where you go. And this is apocrypha, means a hidden. It's a book that was hidden. They took it out of the Bible. It's in this one, but this one is hard to navigate, bro, because it's in Roman numerals, and you gotta have a keen eye. I mean, I could do it, but I brought this out because I knew I was gonna get excited, and I already had this. This is my study apocrypha. This is my study apocrypha. This is my speaking source. All right. So, and they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. And the Euphrates is a river that's over there in the Middle East. Let me just finish this up. For the Most High, Yahweh, then shewed signs for them. So one of the signs I'd like to tell you about is that eagle on the cactus for Issachar. Because I know that very well. I know that story very well, man. They pound that shit into your head when you're a little Indian. Over here in fucking the Rancherias in fucking Mexico. God damn, man. We followed the eagle that had a snake, and he was flying over a lake. And while he was flying over that lake, he saw a cactus in the middle of the lake, landed on it, ate it, and that's where we made our home. Okay, that's the story, and that's the exact sign. For the Most High then shewed signs for them, and had stilled the flood, till they were passed over. They were passed over. Okay, so, and that goes into being an Israelite, because the Israelites celebrated something called Passover. You got some?
Yeah, I'm gonna get that definition. It's that definition, Gentile, because when we came over here, we became Gentiles. The Israelites, they became Gentiles. As soon as we stopped following the Lord's commandments, we became Gentiles. And this is what the word Gentile means. In the Greek, it's Helen.
Oh.
Okay.
Damn. That's a good one.
Helen, and if you got that Hellenistas.
Yes, I do.
Helen.
Come on. Serving them up.
And this is Helen, speaking person, especially a non-Jew. So.
Okay, I got two definitions in here. I got two definitions. All right. The first one is okay, Hellenism. A Greek idiom or grammatical construction. The Greek character or culture. The Greek character or culture. So when he says a Hellenist, that means somebody that's not Greek involved in a Greek culture, which is the definition of being a Gentile. You want to be putting yourself outside of the temple. Let me finish this definition. 2. All right, that was it. Especially in ancient times, Hellenist. Now, this is the word Hellenist, because that's part of the Hellenism. It goes into that word Hellenist. Now, this is the word Hellenistic, of the Greek language or culture of the 4th or 1st centuries BC.
Right, so Gentile and Hellenist, It's in a wider sense. The name embraces all nations, not Jews, that made the language, customs, and the learning of the Greeks their own. So that means they made the customs and the learning of the Greeks their own. So once you start learning their customs, you're gonna start acting like them. You're gonna start looking like them. You know what I mean?
Oh, and how do you look like them, huh? Let me get you something right here. This is the first book of Ezra, chapter 9. I'm going to start at 6. And all the multitude sat trembling in the broad court of the temple because of the present foul weather. And they knew when it gets crazy like that, that's the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. 7. So Ezra arose and said unto them, Ye have transgressed the law and married in strange wives, thereby to increase the sins of Israel.
See, so Israel went off. You know?
And that's why we look like skinned, okay?
Yeah.
So if you're watching this, I'm not even gonna mention your name. This Rastafarian on a G Plus thing, and shout out to all you real Israelites out there. You real Israelites in GMS, Men of Valor, DTA, and all the other camps that teach the same doctrine. You guys are teaching the truth, man. So I'm not even gonna say nothing about that negativity, you know, because that's why we look light-skinned, okay? Because our mothers were light-skinned before, and you know how you like light-skinned women.
Yeah. Okay. And it also says the primary reference is to a difference of religion and worship. So when you're under captivity, you start worshiping what they worship, okay? And in this captivity, they don't worship the true Lord. They don't know who the true Lord is. So that's what that word Gentile means. So we're trying to bring you back from that Gentile state of mind. You know, we're trying to bring you back. And the way to bring you back is to show you the truth, to tell you the truth of this Bible. And by learning this truth, you're going to be blessed.
Alright, so I'm going to get the... image.
So when we came into captivity, in this captivity, we didn't know who anything was. And the main thing you got to know is the image of the Lord. Okay?
All right. This is Revelation chapter 1 and verse 14. So I'm gonna just, since I'm going straight to the point, I'm gonna tell you that John was in the island of Patmos, and he was having the Lord visit him through angels, and the Lord himself appeared to him in a vision, and this is what he saw. Revelation 1 and 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice was as the sound of many waters.
That's right. Because the first verse, it talks about his hair. Okay, now why would it talk about his hair? Because it's talking about the type of quality that a human has. Okay?
Well, and what human? Because the word human means, hue means color, and man means man. So man of color. So one of these people right here on this sign has exceptionally woolly hair.
So when he says,
hey, my friend.
So when he's talking about the quality of hair, who's got the best quality of hair on this earth? It's the Negroes. They got woolly hair. Okay.
And one of the characters of woolly hair is its density. So when Jacob was going to running away from whatever he had to do from Esau, he was running away from Esau. And remember, he took that rock as a pillow.
He slept on that rock.
How you gonna sleep on a rock with fucking straight hair?
Yeah, that shit will hurt your head if you got straight hair. You know what I'm saying? You have a bump on your head.
Hey, Mormons. Hey, you Mormons. I want you to go fucking show me one Mormon that can sleep on a fucking rock like that. A fucking good night's rest, waking up talking about,
That's right. Because when your hair grows, when you have woolly hair, your hair grows in an afro. You know? And then it describes the color of his feet too.
Okay. Let me get 16. And he had in his right hand, 7 stars. Out of his mouth went a sharp 2-edged sword, and his countenance was as the sun shineth in his strength. So he was powerful, man. He had that, which represents the Bible right here. The 2-edged sword is the Bible. And in California, they're trying to pass a law. It's against the Constitution, but they're trying to. If they really wanted to push it, they would come up right here and beat the fuck out of us and take our shit. But you know what? We got angels encamping around us. Now that could possibly happen. That could possibly happen. Even though we're trying, the men of the Lord, they got fucking killed.
Yep, all of them got killed.
All of them. So, man, and I'm just going to say this once. If the Lord calls you to action, you don't tell them, oh, I had a rough week. I think I'm going to sit this out, Yahushai. I'll be back at you next week, okay? You can need me next week, I'm right there. But this week, I'm tired.
Because the Lord is a man of war, you know, and if the Lord calls you to war, you know, you're gonna go to war. You're gonna leave everything behind, okay? You're not gonna be like that man in the Bible who says, "Can you please excuse me?"
Shoot.
You know, you can't be in that spirit. You got to be ready to go.
You look at it from your. The man is the Lord. The Lord is the man of war. I think it's in Exodus. Okay, I got it. 15. I got it. This is Exodus 15, and I'm going to start at 2. Well, I'm going to start at the very top, okay? Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai B'Hashem Rakah Quadash, and spake, saying, I will sing unto the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea. Now that represents the Pharaoh at that time. But the horse is a power, and if you're sitting on that horse, you're in the seat of power. Donald Trump is in that seat of what? The power of the president. Pretty soon he's gonna be the fucking power of the new world order, and he's gonna push out that chip like he's trying to do right now, man. So let me get this up right here. And verse 2. The Lord is my strength and song. And this song right here is a dirge, man. And a dirge is a sad, sad song, man. Something that you would sing at a funeral or when you're sorrowful.
Because when you come into this truth, you start realizing what you got to do. And the things you got to do is kind of rough, you know, but you just got to somehow get through that. You got to endure.
You got to endure, yeah. The Lord is my strength and song, and he has become my salvation. He is my power, and I will prepare him an habitation, which is my mind. The habitation for the Lord is his temple, right? So the temple is the mind. That's where you get your instruction, because there's something in there called the pineal gland, and you know, you can dream, and it all goes through. All that information goes through there. All right. And I will prepare him in habitation, my father's power, and I will exalt him. The Lord is a man of war. Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, B'Hashem Rakah Quadash is his name.
That's right. It said the Lord is a man of war. He's not a man of peace. You know?
Let me get you Matthew 10:34. Let's real quick.
So if the Lord commands you to do something, you gotta fear him, because you don't want the Lord to destroy you. You know?
You know,
And one of his commandments is to come out here on the highways and the byways. Because when he tells you to come out here to the highways and the byways,
I'm gonna get that in there.
that means he's telling you to come do his work. This brother's gonna get this scripture real quick.
This is John 9:4. I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work.
Let's speak that first.
All right,
Just a verse.
like, I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day.
And that's Yahweh Shai speaking. He said, I must work the works of him that sent me. And he's talking about his father. Because his father brought him to do his works. Okay? And he's talking about he has to do the work while it's day. And he don't mean it literally meaning the sun being out, but right now we got an opportunity to come out and speak this truth, you know, and to try to wake up our people.
That's right.
You know? And speak that next verse.
The night cometh when no man can work.
That's right. It says the night cometh when no man can work. So when the night comes, we're not going to have an opportunity to come out here and do this work. The work's going to be done. So are you going to sit around and let somebody else do the work? You know?
I got this for you. This is Matthew 9:38. Pray ye therefore the Lord, Yahushua Mashiach, of the harvest, that he will send forth laborers into his harvest.
That's what we're praying for. We're praying to bring more help, you know? Because we want people who will come out here every week.
To battle consistently.
That's right. Constant in season and out of season, even if it has to be hot, you know, even if it has to be cold.
Right now the weather is nice.
Because, like I said, we're in a time of war. And if it's hot outside and it's a time of war, are you going to say, I can't go outside right now because it's too hot? It's too hot to fight. No.
This is Matthew 10:30.